on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, day 19 here on the 31 Days of Horror Volume 5, and we're going to take it back to 2017 with a film that did a lot of big things in the film circuit and stuff, like the indie circuit, and officially came out on DVD and Blu-ray in 2019, courtesy of Scream Team Releasing. And it is a film called Murder Made Easy. Now, I've been really interested in Scream Team releases throughout the years. I pretty much watched and reviewed almost every film that they put out, and this was one of the last ones. And so I was very curious because I read the synopsis on it, and it just sounded exactly like something that I would be into. I'm a big fan of like Agatha Christie films and Alfred Hitchcock murder mysteries and thrillers and stuff like that. And this one just had that written all over it. Lo and behold, I get the DVD a little while ago, and there's quotes on the back saying things like "would make Agatha Christie proud," and it quotes Alfred Hitchcock and things like that. And I was like, okay. So completely sold on the film because that's exactly what I figured I was getting myself into. So that's kind of cool. They don't just make a lot of these type of Agatha Christie type stories in the indie scene that often. So, but getting into the synopsis of this one, basically it's about our two main characters, Joan and Michael. Joan and Michael are just friends. They're throwing a dinner party for their friends at Michael's house to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Joan's husband that passed away. And of course, some people wind up dead, and that's your mystery. That's pretty much all I can say about the film without giving away spoilers, because this is a murder mystery, and the whole movie is a build-up to a really, really great twist. So, my thoughts on the movie. Now, I really like the way this movie is constructed. I think it's kind of cool. I will say with a minor spoiler that guests come and go in this one, and it's kind of set up in like a meal, like a 4-course meal. It's got, it's got headers. It's got course 1, enter first character, course 2, so on and so on through like 4 courses. I really like that whole idea, that whole premise, because it is a dinner party and things like that. So like the first 2/3 of the film is really just kind of introducing these characters, and there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of dinner dialogue and things happen and stuff like that. The acting is pretty good, overall for this type of movie. I was very shocked at, well, not shocked, but I was very impressed with the acting. It's all shot in one location, so there's not various locations and things like that. It's all shot inside this house, but I did like the way it was paced, though. The pacing was fantastic in it, because this movie runs about 75 minutes. You get introduced to all these characters, and it kind of clips along. My main gripe with it, though, the first 2/3 of the movie are just above average, in my opinion. I think that the characters are minorly interesting. Not overly interesting enough to keep you like, oh, wow, this is like really awesome, kind of going, that way. It's just kind of average. I think the dialogue is a tad bit boring and stuff. There's not really a lot of suspense leading up into the 3rd act. But it's interesting enough, and the pacing's well done enough that it actually does keep you interested, because knowing that, it's possibly, or it's like an Agatha Christie influenced film or Alfred Hitchcock influenced film, that you're going to get some type of twist. And I will say that the whole build-up is just above average, but the twist in this really sells the whole film. It brings it up a whole lot. It's amazing. The twist is awesome in this. I was really impressed with how they did it and where they went with the story and stuff. I thought it was actually kind of cool. Now, I don't want to compare this to anything, because that'll just be dead giveaways with spoilers and things like that. But I will say the saving grace for this film is by far the twist. It's really good. And I'm not saying, the first 2/3 of the film are horrible or anything. I just think it could have been a little bit more interesting. I don't think the characters are that interesting. The second girl that we get introduced into this film, one of their friends, is probably one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen. I know she was meant to be annoying. She's like this vegan, and she's just a tree hugger, and it's just, man, she's really fucking annoying. Really annoying. And as for the other ones, again, not overly that interesting. The dialogue was like, okay, where are we going with this kind of thing, right? So, but again, the payoff is well worth it in the end. I think it's fantastically done, and I really like the way they did it too. It just kind of shocked me. I wasn't really expecting something like that, but it actually makes sense. It's not ambiguous or anything. The ending completely makes sense, because, in an Agatha Christie film, if you've ever seen any of them, they all have to make sense. And pretty much Agatha Christie films, they all have a really, really long explanation to why it works and how it does and things. It's not drawn out like that, but you get the fucking point. This one really does, it explains itself with what happens quite well. So, Murder Made Easy. It does have a little bit of comedy in there. It's kind of more black comedy, to be honest. It's not really that, straight out like Hollywood haha. It's more black comedy. It's a little bit more subtle and things like that, but it's definitely there. It's present, but it's not a comedy by any means, but pretty well done, I will say. For I think this director, Dave Palmero, was his debut film. I know he'd done like a documentary and a couple of shorts before and stuff, but yeah, this is pretty interesting. You don't see a lot of these type of straight up murder mystery films being made anymore, and especially on the indie tip too, so that's kind of cool. It actually says, with the audience with nods to such classic murder mysteries as Sleuth, Death Trap, Murder on the Orient Express, and Hitchcock's Rope. So, I mean, if you've seen any of those movies, you know what you're getting yourself into, but Agatha Christie is such a big influence here, so Murder Made Easy, check it out from Scream Team Releasing. There is a Blu-ray available there, but I pick up the DVD because price point. Importing the Blu-ray is just way too expensive, so... but yeah, that's going to do it for day 19, guys. I will check you guys tomorrow on day 20 with a throwback film. And as usual, deuces!